Hello everyone, making another video tonight. I actually shaved today because Rose made me shave, so she kind of hinted that she'd like me to make a video and just show everyone what I look like when I shave so that no one thinks she's married to an old man. My beard may come in white, but I am not that old, so I guess you could say this is my second face reveal. In 3, 2, 1. Here I am. This is me, clean shaven. I did nick myself a couple of places because I'm not used to doing it. This may be the only time you ever see this on my channel because normally I don't like to shave, especially in winter. It's too cold outside. But anyways, I figure I might as well make this a part 2 video. Last time I was talking about differences, things I had noticed between here and, between here and the Philippines. And a lot of it's not all culture. A lot of it is, but a lot of it's not too. You know, a little background on me. I grew up in Southern California. Spent the first 22 years of my life in Bakersfield. And man, you want to talk about diversity. I mean, I used to joke that, you know, of the 300 and something thousand people in our city, no two people had the exact same culture or the exact same religion. You know, everybody was different. That's how diverse it was. And of course, I moved back here to Oklahoma, and the culture itself is different, but basically, the rest of it's the same. You walk around, there's, you know, almost everyone you see is different. They're unique. And that kind of shocked me when I went to the Philippines, because you see, that's what I'm used to. In the U.S., we're very diverse. We have, you know, types of people that most people in the world probably don't even know exist. And it's kind of like one big melting pot of cultures. And I go to the Philippines, and what surprised me immediately, kind of caught me off guard, was all I ever saw was Filipinos. And I know some people might say, well, what do you expect? You're in the Philippines. But I had never been to any country, you know, before this where that's all you see. You know, because I've used to growing up in such a diverse environment. And I couldn't see the diversity in the Philippines at first. Of course, now I can. There is quite a bit of diversity there. But being, my first trip there, being my first time, I couldn't see it. I didn't know enough about it. So that shocked me. And, I know Rose was shocked when she first came here, too. When she first came here, I remember she didn't really want to talk to anyone. She didn't really want to go, out on her own any place. Wherever I went, she just kind of stuck to me like glue. And if someone talked to her, said hi to her or anything, she would just kind of like literally hide behind me and then look up at me like she wanted me to answer for her. And I think part of that was because either she was afraid they wouldn't understand her, what she said, or maybe she didn't understand what they said. Because I'll tell you, here in Oklahoma, we have our own accent that can be pretty hard to understand sometimes, even for people who grow up speaking English. But it was a shock for her to see so many different kinds of people. I mean, she had never seen a Hispanic person before. She had never seen an African American before. She had, never seen a Native American before. She had, so many different types of people that she had never seen before. And I think it kind of overwhelmed her at first. I can understand how it would. But, that's one of the things that I think anyone going between the two countries might find a little intimidating at first, or a little overwhelming, not really intimidating. But that's one that got me big time. And I don't know, let's see, what else? Let me think a second here. Construction methods. This got me big time. I mean, I'm not used. It's a different environment in the Philippines than it is here, so they have different needs, different requirements when they build things, different building codes. And not everyone over there follows the building codes as closely. I noticed that too after I learned some of the building codes over there, in our area, anyways. But, over here, building codes are very strict. I mean, they're monitored. You build a new house at each step of the stage when you do the plumbing. Before you cover it up and put the walls up, you have to have an inspector come in and sign off on it. And those inspectors, I mean, the construction guys will tell you they dread those inspectors coming, because they will try and find anything and everything wrong with it. And they're not looking for an extra handout or to cost you more money or anything. They're just looking to basically nitpick. That's their job, is to just look at something and say, oh, this is trash, and here's why. Electrical, before you cover up the walls, you have to have someone come out and inspect like a licensed electrician come out and inspect everything to make sure it meets code. You have to have, all the load-bearing walls have to be inspected. I mean, everything has to be inspected separately by a separate inspector who's, an expert in their field. And I noticed in the Philippines, it's kind of, I don't know. What I noticed is anything we've ever had done, we've never really had an inspector out there. Of course, we're kind of out in the province at our place. So, when we built our new kitchen over there, it was, it's a real good sized kitchen, but I mean, the only people that ever really came out to look at it were we had a surveyor come out, and we told him what we wanted and where we wanted it, and he came out and he basically just marked off the area and said, okay, it'll go here. Because we were building it, it's basically an addition onto the house, the main house. And that was it. After that, the construction workers came and they, had materials delivered, and they just built it up real fast. But there was no real inspection. In fact, I think the builders were kind of insulted when I asked about having inspections on things. I didn't mean to do that, but hey, I like following procedures. Makes me feel better. And, I didn't really understand what they were doing at the time because it's so different. I mean, you build the whole thing out of cement and steel reinforced hollow blocks. And to me, that seemed like overkill because, here in the U.S., we build everything out of wood. But since I've learned, wood over there, unless it's certain kinds of wood, it'll just, mold and rot, and within 5 years in that environment, the whole house will fall down. Unless it's bamboo or something. I think teak wood also is pretty good at that. But, that got me, just the difference in materials even. And so that was another one. And I'm trying to think here. And when I'm trying to think on the fly, my brain freezes up. It's been so long since I experienced a lot of that. Some of it I'm sure I forgot about. Um, I guess it caught me off guard a little bit with the whole transportation system. I mean, my first trip there, I was pretty much helpless. I had to have Rose or her mom or somebody with me to go anywhere because I didn't know how it worked. You know, if I wanted to go to the next town over, I couldn't just walk to the highway, which is a block away from the house, and grab a bus and go like they do, because I didn't know which bus to grab. You know, all the buses put their their destination or their route in the front window. Well, I didn't really know the roads. I didn't know the routes. I didn't know any of that, so I didn't know which bus to jump on. And anytime you flag a bus down and you ask them if you're going to a certain place, I noticed if the bus was already full, they'd say, no, no, we don't go there. If the bus was almost empty, they'd say, yeah, 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 we go there. You know, they're trying to get extra fares. But, you do that, you might end up God knows where. I mean, I didn't even know where to get off the bus. Everyone else knows their stop. So they'd holler at the conductor or the driver, either one, and tell them, hey, stop the bus. I'm getting off here. I didn't know that. you know? So I felt kind of helpless. That's something I wasn't used to. And at first, I didn't like it. But then, the more I got to know it, the more I got to feel comfortable with it. I got to know the area, the roads, where they go, and everything. Of course, I didn't have GPS then. I have GPS now. I think everyone has GPS now. But, at the time, I didn't have all that. And I couldn't exactly just stop by and buy a map someplace, because I've noticed out in the province, well, most maps I've seen, even in the cities, you buy a map of, say, the whole island. It doesn't even cover half of the roads out in the province. Some of those roads in the province might not have existed yesterday. I mean, when they decide to expand, they act on it, and they do pretty quick. Do it pretty quick. But, and well, that's another thing that caught me off guard is how fast they build. I mean, you can have an entire city leveled by a natural disaster, and within a month, they rebuild the whole thing. I mean, maybe not a major city, but a small city, yeah, they'll rebuild the whole thing in a month or two. Have it back exactly the way it was before. And that just amazed me. Because, I mean, in the U.S. here, I mean, it can take 6 months to a year just to build one house. And you want to talk about trying to rebuild a whole city? I mean, in Manila, I have seen them put up, 50-story skyscrapers in under a year. I mean, they were nice ones, too. I mean, yeah, certain things, if they cut corners or whatnot, you probably wouldn't be able to tell. But it looked good. It was solid. And everything worked. I mean, that's amazing. Our last trip there, we actually were staying in one hotel while we were watching them build another one a few blocks away. And every day there'd be like 2 or 3 more floors added to the thing. It was the most amazing thing I've ever seen. But, I'm kind of a maintenance type guy anyways. I mean, when it comes to building or fixing anything, I'm interested in it. So for someone who's not really interested in that, it probably wouldn't matter. But for me, that just knocked me for a loop. Oh. In case anyone's wondering, yes, I do have my little sidekick with me here tonight. There she is, Kaylee. Kaylee, hey, say hi. Say hi. Say hi. Yeah. She's watching some videos right now. Numbers and colors and everything like that. She loves that. 22 months old and she's getting into that already. And she may not be able to say all the words, but she knows the colors. And, God, what else is there to talk about? I think that's probably about it. I'll probably think of something later and think, oh God, I should have included that. But if I do, maybe I'll just make a part 3. But for now, I guess this has been my part 2. Because I'm having a bit of a brain fart here and my mind's just blanking right now. Got a big day coming up tomorrow. It's already getting late, so I gotta get the oldest, Samantha, off to school. Then come home and get the little one, get Kaylee ready so she can come with me because I have to take my mother to a doctor's appointment in the morning. Then manage to get home in time to go pick Samantha up at school, which is always interesting. She has to be the last one out of the school. And I don't mean the last one in her class. I mean the last student, period. She always finds a way. I don't know how. But I usually end up standing out in the cold waiting for her. Unless one of the teachers has mercy on me and invites me in. Oh, well, I guess that's it for tonight, guys. I'll see you again next time.